Yes, thank you, Corbin. All right, today's distributive property. Now, I know you guys know this. We've discussed this property already. When we wrote this property down, we said when you have something outside the parenthesis, it has to multiply whatever is inside the parenthesis. So we said A times B is AB, and A times C is AC. All right, that's how we wrote the property down the other day. Today, we're going to work with this property in a few different ways. So we're going to start with the easy stuff, though. Okay? So right off the bat, we're going to start with example number 1. It's going to ask you to simplify. And if we have, let's say, a 3 outside our parenthesis of 2x plus 1, it means that when you have something right next to it, you have to multiply by that number, right? So we're going to take our 3 and multiply 2x, which gives us 6x. And we're going to take 3 and multiply 1, which gives us 3. You're to the end of the parenthesis, you're done distributing. That's our final answer. There's nothing else you can do with it. 6x plus 3. All right, let's try another example. Example number 2. Again, we're going to simplify. Let's say I have negative 2 times x minus 7. All right, in this one, Libby, go ahead. Tell me what I got to do.
Negative 2 times x
Is?
negative 2x.
Good.
And then negative 2 times 7, which is negative 14. But there's a negative, so it would be plus 14.
Very good. Nicely done. All right. So again, that's mostly what you're doing at the top of our problems today. Okay? So all these examples. And I want to throw a couple kind of interesting ones in. What if the problem is written as 3x plus 2 with a 4 on the back instead of in the front? You're going to do the same thing. I agree. So what I'm really hoping you're going to do is rewrite it with the 4 in front. Should be the very first step. So when you write it down in your paper, put the 4 in front for me. Because we can, multiplying 3 times 2 is the same as multiplying 2 times 3, right? By the commutative property. So that's the property we just used to switch those. Now with the number in front, let's go ahead and do our distributive property. 4 times 3x. Good. And 4 times 2. Is there anything else I can do to this problem? Can I add those together? No. Why not, Em? Very good. They're not like terms, so they stay just like that. All right? Pencil? Yeah. No. All right. So here's one thing I want to talk about. Is in the first problems, here is our rule of thumb we're going to follow. If the problem starts off as a decimal, then our answer is a decimal. If our problem starts off as a fraction, then our answer is a fraction. Here's what I mean. Here's example number 4. 1.2 times x minus 3. So this is starting off as a decimal, so you can leave your answer as a decimal. 1.2 times x is, of course, yes, 1.2x. Sorry, I got sloppy there. And how about 1.2 times negative 3? Negative 3.6. I agree. All right. But what if it was written like this? 1/2 times x minus 6. Huh? No. I want you to leave it as a fraction. Yes, 1.5x. I agree. And then, so we just did that one. What's 1/2 times negative 6? Yes, very good. It is minus 3. Okay? Right. Yes. No, because you're multiplying. What's 1 times anything? Still the same thing, right? Not 1/2 divided by 6. 6 divided by 2, right? Because when you look at this, if you're multiplying this 1/2 times 6, you're multiplying 1 times 6, and you're multiplying 2 times 1. So it's 6 over 2, which is 3. Okay, good. All right, so again, our rule of thumb, if it starts as a decimal, your answer is a decimal. If it starts as a fraction, your answer is a fraction. Okay? All right, so are we good with this? All right, how about this one? Example number 5. What if I wrote it like this? A negative 2x minus 4. When it's just a negative out front, what really is it in the front of it? What is it? 1, a negative 1, right? So when you write it down, go ahead and put that 1 in there. 1's magical. It's always there, right? So we have negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. And negative 1 times negative 4? Good. Positive 4. All right. Any questions on this part? Yes. So there is one thing we need to talk about once we get through this distributive stuff. Okay? So there's another way you can distribute. It's called writing as a sum or difference. So if we have something that's in a fraction form, let's say x plus 3 over 4. We can use the distributive property to put 4 underneath both pieces and separate it. So we can rewrite this as x over 4 plus 3 over 4. So your first step is going to be to split it up. Okay? Your second step is to reduce if needed. In this case, we didn't need to reduce, but there's going to be some where you do. You gotta go. All right, so how about this one? Here's example number 6. And again, in your homework, this is questions 26 through 32 where you're doing this, and the directions say to rewrite as the sum or difference. All right, so for example, if I have something that looks like this, let's say I have 2w plus 6 over 4. You need to rewrite this. So the first thing we're going to do is split it up, right? That's step number 1. When we write that 4, we distribute it to both parts of it. So we have 2w over 4 plus 6 over 4. Then we look to see if we can reduce either of those fractions. Can I reduce 2 over 4? Well, let's start with this one, though. 2 over 4 is 1 over 2, right? Yes, 1w over 2 plus 3 over 2. Okay? This is your final answer for this problem. So 1, you split it up. 2, you reduce it. Yep, that's what I want. There's nothing to solve. That's what I want. They're not like terms. Okay, one more. Example number 7. One more like this, and I have one more thing to talk about. Example 7. Again, I want you to write this as a sum or difference. Let's say I have 36x plus 12 over 6. So first thing I got to do is split it up into 2, right? Put that 6, distribute it underneath each of our numbers on the top. So we have 36x over 6 plus 12 over 6. Now we reduce. Emma, go ahead. And do I need to write the 1 on the bottom? No. So just 6x. Yep. 1's always there, right? Good. All right. 6x plus 2. You're just reducing it. Do we have a question on these few problems? All right. Last thing I want to talk about. Well, I got to talk about the ones where you have to show your work, that 42 through 48. There's really not a whole lot of work to show. I mean, when you distribute, there's not much to, right? There's a little bit, and I appreciate it if you do a little bit, but, all right, so I want to talk about mental math with a distributive property. Now, the other day when we did mental math, I told you I couldn't read your mind and I wanted you to show all your work. Corbin, I don't want to. Okay? All right, with a distributive property. So this is what I'm hoping to see today. If I have, let's say, 4 times 302, okay? I want you to take that number that we're multiplying by, take it to its biggest tens or hundreds, in this case, 300. We're going to rewrite that as 300 plus 2, okay? Do you agree that's the same as 302? And then we're going to put the 4 we're timesing by in front. Now we're going to do the distributive property. 4 times 300, good, 1,200. And 4 times 2, and then we add those together. Yeah, exactly. Okay, how about this one? Because I want to see how you've done it mentally without a calculator, right? What if I have 3 times 399? So how can we rewrite 399, Jesse? Go ahead. Now, can you mentally multiply 3 times 99? No. We want to find something that we can do in our head. Isaac, what do you think? Oh, what else we got? What do you think, Lily? Yes. So this rounds up to 400, but we take 1 off, right? So now those are easy things for us to multiply. 3 times 400, 1,200, and then 3 times negative 1, minus 3. And what's 1,200 minus 3? There we go. There we go. That's okay. All right. So what we want to do is round it to something easy for us to do in our head. Okay. So here is example. Is that what I'm on? 8. Example 8. All right. And so this is what you are doing for 42 through 48. Okay. So using mental math and the distributive property, and again, you have to show your work on these problems. Let's do something like 5 times 197. So how else can I write 197, Ian? 200 what? There we go. 200 minus 3 is the same as 197. If I put a 5 in front, now I can do the distributive property. 5 times 200 is 1,000. 5 times minus 3, or negative 3, is negative 15. What's 1,000 minus 15? Yes, 985. Okay, one more real quick and I'm done. Same exact thing, so let's say let's make it a little tougher. What if I have 3 times 8.25? Okay, good. 8 plus 0.25. All right, whoops. And we're going to put our 3 in the front. So we have 3 times 8 is how much? 24. Plus, what is 3 times 0.25? Perfect. And can I easily add those two in my head? Good. Any questions? No questions? So you guys have 20 minutes, a little more than 20 minutes to get this done. I think you'll get way through it. I want to make sure that you're showing any work you need, okay? All right, so get started, please and thank you. It's only 20 problems, and some of them are super quick.